let's break down the Freedom Convoy because there's been a lot of news, and we want to let you guys know what's been going on.
We're pulling up a Forbes article that explains why Canada enacted emergency powers and then why they repealed those measures recently.
Within a week.
Yes, 7 days. That's all it took.
Yeah.
9 days, sorry.
I think everyone in their parliament or whatever it's called just knows that their career's done.
Oh, they're terrible.
Like, I think they just know.
There's so many people who disagree with him, too.
Mm-hmm.
So many
He's an
people
asshole.
that hate him.
He's got, I don't...
I mean, he's very hateable what he does with this protest, and then what he does with Native
A
Americans.
peaceful protest.
Yeah. One of the most peaceful protests we've seen in a while, and we said that last week.
Yeah.
Why are they beating people? Why are they having border Mounties running over people on their horses?
Right.
Reporters, for no less. Reporters who should be protected
Freezing
in some
bank
senses.
accounts. Freezing
Yeah,
bank accounts. And, like, giving out addresses to everybody who gave money to GoFundMe.
Yes. Even,
Like, I'm
made a
sorry.
post this week. Ilhan Omar even... Oh, I didn't post that on Instagram. I posted it on something else. That's funny. Ilhan Omar came out this week and denounced people for doing that. For doxing... Yeah, Ilhan Omar. Brother lover Ilhan Omar.
Mm-hmm. I think, did they do anything to, like, American accounts? Like, American citizens who donated?
Oh, we should look
Once
into
I
it,
heard about
Christy.
the GoFundMe, I was going to
Because
donate, but then
if
it
they-
got removed.
But then the send... Go
I'd say
fund send or
if
something.
Canada started freezing American citizens' bank accounts, I'd say that's, like,
War.
almost an act of war.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very
Like,
No,
you don't start
that's war.
freezing our citizen shit. Like, it's one thing for you to go tyrannical and do shit to your people, but you don't do shit to other
Which is
people,
still
like other
absolutely
nations.
crazy.
Right.
Let's get into it. Like, for
I
real.
don't think they were touching American citizens' accounts. I think it was
Yeah.
more of
They best not. They know better.
Because we'll be touching our guns.
Yeah. We'll be hunting.
Go.
Oh, well, we shouldn't say that, but...
Hunting.
Yeah.
We got to get some maple leaves.
Some fresh syrup.
Canada ended a 9-day emergency declaration Wednesday that was made in response to the so-called Freedom Convoy protests that obstructed some border crossings and interfered with commerce across the U.S.-Canada border. Yeah, Forbes is very left-leaning. If you don't know. So they're definitely going to have some pointed...
how horrible
wording.
these protesters are. Let's hear about how horrible.
So-called Freedom Convoy protests. No, that's what they're called. That's their name. It's not so-called.
What was it? Oh my god, I saw it and I was just like, are you kidding? Like, at that point, like, just give up your life. They were saying that when people were saying honk honk,
Yeah.
it was Hail Hitler. Is what honk honk.
People can't get over their lives.
That's what they thought?
Come
It
on.
was literally people.
I was doing free Hong Kong in a bunch of things. I'm Jewish. You think I'm mad?
Right.
Sorry, no.
And it wasn't even like random citizens. I mean, it was actually like a lady from their parliament or whatever they.
Oh
had
my
there.
god.
No, it's just like...
Oh, they're mentioning the bank accounts.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, 210?
Yep. Canada's Emergencies Act allowed authorities to designate no-go areas, to order towing companies to remove vehicles, and to freeze up to 210 bank accounts, a power that officials said was used to target larger donors to the protests in order to apply pressure to protesters. Come on, Trudeau. Trudeau said Wednesday that though there was still a threat, the situation was no longer an emergency and could be handled without special powers. While some Ottawa restaurants and other businesses closed due to the protests had reopened by Tuesday, police checkpoints remained active around the city and a secured area was still maintained around the Canadian Parliament building, the Ottawa Police Service announced. An increased police presence is expected to continue in Ottawa during the coming days in order to prevent protesters from returning, police announced.
Oh, prevent protesters from protesting. So, in other words, is protesting kind of illegal?
At that point.
At that point, I
You know,
guess.
Yep, pretty much.
I kind of understand like, okay, we get your point, time to go home, but you don't do what you did.
Right,
No.
you
that.
listen to them
Right.
or
Yeah.
change something.
If they're that passionate about it,
Right.
If they're gonna be out there, like, let them do it for a year. If they're
Right.
that passionate about it, let other people, like, just not work, not transport anything. Wow.
Right.
Like, maybe we should do something. But knowing Trudeau and how he dealt with the Native Americans and their pipelines,
absolutely.
like, and going on their territories, even without their consent, and they would just have police go there.
Yeah.
So I know this guy. This guy would just totally overstep boundaries and do this kind of stuff.
Grade
This
A
is how he is.
asshole.
I think at
That's
this
how he
point,
is.
like, these truckers just need to go home and just do the same thing there.
Yeah.
Just, okay, yeah, I'm going to park my truck in the driveway and that's it. You know? Just, you can cause the same kind of reaction.
Park it in the streets. Every trucker should just park in the street.
I mean, that's what they were doing before. Look at how that turned out for them.
I would
doing
just
it.
not work. I would just not work.
Exactly. Just go home,
Oh, well.
spend that time with your family.
Just keep doing it.
You know,
But
as a
anything
trucker,
you
you're
have-
on the road. Make up that lost time.
Yeah, do deliveries with your semi truck.
The most amazing,
DoorDash.
the most amazing thing ever would be if everybody just put their cars on the street. Everybody.
That's what we need to do here in Buffalo. So, you can't park in the street for half the year. And that's our only parking spot in our fucking apartment.
I
Yeah.
Horrible.
got a nice little card from the nice policeman.
Oh,
The
The
good.
last time yeah.
Sad.
You guys actually thought I got a card from the police?
Well, no.
No.
I figured you were talking a ticket.
Yeah.
I was
I just didn't realize you got one.
Yep. $25, so not,
Yeah.
not the
Yep.
end of the day, not the end of the world, but
How stupid.
It is.
Instead of every other day parking. Like
We should
most
protest
other
it.
places.
but then again, they do that so that way the plows don't hit your car.
Right.
So,
But
That's kinda
back
on you.
home, we did even parking and odd parking. So even days you park on the
No,
even side.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that
like
makes
what-
the most sense.
so that way
But
people
whatever.
That's
just
what
park.
most cities do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, if they're not off the site today, they will be tomorrow.
Yeah. But Buffalo doesn't care. Come on. The Ottawa Carleton District School Board and Ottawa Catholic School Board reopened schools Tuesday, but said checkpoints might delay students from arriving at school, CBC reported. Though the blockades were removed, it's possible that the high-profile demonstrations allowed protesters to spread their message, setting the stage for a longer-term movement. Wesley Wark, senior fellow at Canadian public policy think tank, the Center for International Governance Innovation, told the New York Times. Yeah, good. A lot of people are mad at Trudeau at this point.
Yeah.
First of all, he ran away from the protests by having COVID. Does anybody
Didn't he
believe that
also go
test?
into hiding because of this Emergency Act? And it's
Pretty
Oh,
much.
it's
I mean,
like
he went into
we
hiding
weren't a
at the
threat. We
beginning
were
of the
never a
protests.
threat.
Yeah.
They were never coming for you. There was never going to be an insurrection. There was never going to be anything.
They literally said that they were just going to go park and
Free
just sit
honk,
there for a
honk.
while
Right.
until it was done, until they
Yeah.
got what they wanted.
Exactly.
Like, Trudeau just blew it out of proportion for what he made it what it wasn't.
Exactly.
He doesn't like his power challenged. That's really what it is at this point.
Exactly.
He gaslighted us.
The only violence that occurred at that protest the entire time was because of Trudeau, and it was because, and it wasn't even violence on behalf of like the protesters attacking them. It was the police and the government attacking the protesters.
Yep.
That was the violence the whole time. There was no violence before that.
Exactly. Beginning February 7th, Freedom Convoy protesters blockaded the Ambassador Bridge, which accounts for 25% of trade between Canada and the U.S., in opposition to a joint U.S.-Canadian rule requiring truck drivers be fully vaccinated to avoid a 14-day quarantine upon re-entry from the U.S. February 11th. Ontario Superior Court Chief Justice Jeffrey Marowitz granted an injunction allowing police to forcibly remove protesters from the bridge. Trudeau declared a public emergency February 14th in a rare move for Canada's Prime Minister, granting authorities special powers to deal with the protests. Protesters occupying the area around Ottawa's Parliament building were forcibly cleared away Saturday by police, who reported making 170 arrests, towing away 53 vehicles used by protesters to block downtown streets and issuing 3,600 tickets. Monday, Canada legislators voted to extend the declaration of emergency. A February 8th through 9th IPSO Ipsos poll, that's some website, found that 46% of Canadians may not agree with everything the people who have taken part in the truck protests in Ottawa have said, but their frustration is legitimate and worthy of our sympathy. Absolutely.
So, in other words, Canada legislators are also worthless.
Yeah. Trash. They're all trash.
And so they would
Garbage.
have to do a 14-day quarantine. Now, this is their job. At least they're allowed to have their job. But you have to do 14 days of quarantine upon re-entry, and that's every time you trade in between the two, which is their job. So that's almost not worth it, and why would you need to be vaccinated?
Exactly. Just think about that. Like, if you're doing a delivery, 14 days, you can't do a delivery. You literally cannot. Because
Right.
who's going to take you on for a 14-day delivery like that?
Right.
Very well, I guess that's why a lot of places are shipping very late, but it's, problematic. These are the reasons why, and it's holdups, and it's like...
It's not
They're not-
livable.
yeah.
It's simply not livable.
No. Also, isn't driving your truck kind of a quarantine?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fill up your gas tank, you don't really go anywhere. I mean, you'll have to go in and get food, but I'm sure that you can figure out ways around that. You can order, I guess you can literally call up outside of McDonald's. Hey, can you I have COVID, I need you to leave this outside of my truck.
I literally delivered to a truck park area, and he
Yeah.
just came out to my car and picked it up. It was a weird area, but it was just...
Yeah.
It was doable.
Oh, yeah. The critical quote from the Forbes article is, "This situation is no longer an emergency. Therefore, the federal government will be ending the use of the Emergencies Act," Trudeau said Wednesday. "We are confident that existing laws and bylaws are sufficient."
It was never an emergency, but okay.
Nope. You guys probably would have been fine without doing anything. But you're idiots. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you for joining us for that segment from the Weekly Rundown podcast. Click the video to the right to watch the podcast and our logo to subscribe so you can see our videos in your feed. And tune in tomorrow for the next clip.